Hi, everyone. Can you guys hear me? I don't know why I have these on still. So, we're doing questions and answers and stuff about diet. Let me know if you can hear me. And I'm trying to read through the chat quickly. Shell. I'm also tired. I did have some sofa time yesterday that was needed. So what's this pizza and beer night? Do we need to revoke your carnivore card? Thank you. I can see that you are hearing me loud and clear. Awesome. So, people, get your questions in. I want to answer questions. We don't have enough questions on these live streams. Although I do appreciate that you are chatting amongst yourself. It's good. It's good to have this community going. Patricia, welcome. Lukey, Daniel, Christina, she's in the backyard listening to her neighbor and playing Nirvana. Nirvana is always off tune, that's why I like them. Let's see. Anyone want to come over? Yep, sure. Where are you, Christina? I'm not sure where you are. It might be a bit far. And to be honest, if I'm traveling out, I might not be able to come back. Besides, I can't travel because my passport has expired, so I'm in deep shit. Mr. H, I am ready. Had 2 raw egg yolks, liver jerky, and a steak for breakfast. Liver jerky, that's interesting. Wondering if I should try that. Jesus, Fapnado. You early? Yes, hit the like button if you haven't already. Morning kayak. 11 even. How many kayaks are there? Okay. Miss Pim. Funny. What the fuck, Kung Fu? You're speaking Swedish the way Bart is speaking Swedish. Not very good with in other words. Practice your Swedish and come back when you know how to type. Shell, I eat the pizza toppings, all meat toppings, low carb beer. Come and take my card, it's okay. That's all right. I guess I'll forgive you. Yes. Nirvana was my absolute favorite band, and I was heartbroken and devastated when Kurt Cobain took his own life. Stupid bitch. That was not good. That was like my thing. Dave Ben, wondering about smoked salmon. Heard contradictory comments mainly about the chemicals that may be in it as a result of smoking, but on the other hand, has a great fat profile, omega-3, etc. Okay, so yeah, when you produce a smoke, you will have all these polyaromatic, blah blah blah, different types of those kind of compounds that are in the smoke, and they are supposedly carcinogenic. Now, I do believe that they could potentially be carcinogenic under the right circumstances. Excuse me, my dog wants to come in currently. I didn't know that they were right outside. Come on in. So I keep talking even though you can't see me. Yeah, there is some. I wouldn't worry too much unless you're eating a lot of smoked food. If everything you eat is smoked, and then it's also a little bit down to how long has it been smoked for. Usually, it's, at least a few hours. if smoked fish is the only thing you're eating, yeah, maybe think again so that you're not getting too much of this one compound. However, if the rest of your diet is fine and healthy and you're not eating a lot of other, you know, exogenous toxins, whatever that could be, just think about when someone is eating vegetables, even if they're eating organic vegetables, they contain a lot of toxic plant compounds. And we're talking about pesticides, and we're thinking about the pesticides that we are creating and that we are spraying vegetables with. But the thing is that vegetables themselves are creating pesticides that they excrete, which aren't necessarily good for us either. The difference is that they are natural, so people think that maybe they're not as bad, but that is not necessarily the case. Okay? So if you don't eat all of these toxic vegetables, having a bit of toxic smoked fish is probably not going to kill you. Overdoing it might be a problem. If you are feeling good, if you are healthy, and you're eating smoked fish, I wouldn't necessarily worry about something going on in the background. If you're someone who's struggling to get your health back, you're maybe having a really bad autoimmune disease and your immune system is busy doing other things, maybe, try to eat as clean as possible and avoid the smoked fish and try to eat fresh fish. And remember, it needs to be wild caught. Farmed fish is no better than factory farmed animals in general. It's crap meat, it's crap fatty profile, it's everything about it is just crap. So don't do it. If you're going to spend the money on eating fish, spend the money on eating wild caught fish, in my opinion. Okay, that was me going on. Hey, Abe, I have been struggling with my fasting regimen since the end of May. I am currently 242 pounds, 5'9". My big problem is that carb and sugar cravings have crept back into the picture. What advice could I could advise? So my advice would be that 10th of August, I'm going to start another 30-day no sugar challenge. And you're more than welcome to participate. That is totally free to do. So you can do that. If you haven't joined my Facebook group, I would advise you to do that. I'm just going to get you the link in case you are not there. So just hang on. So this is the link. Let's see. So I'm going to post that as a comment here. So just check the comments. It's there. I'll put it up later. Join the Facebook group. I have weekly challenges that will help you quit sugar and carbs. But also, as soon as my sign-up page is ready, it's actually kind of ready. I just want to make sure that everything is working fine. I will put it up in the Facebook group and you can just sign up and you can join that challenge. So during that challenge, you will get a daily email from me with something like a little bit of an exercise. It doesn't take a lot of time to do, but it keeps you on track. And I also have videos that are about 5 minutes long that you can watch every day for the 30 days. And the best thing is that we have a private Facebook group, which is really great for the accountability and connecting with other people, getting support others, etc. And I really, really enjoy watching people in there. I am there as well, and I'm checking in once or twice per day, and I'm commenting, etc. But what I really enjoy about it is actually seeing you guys when you pick up on the things that I'm teaching you, and you're teaching each other, and you give each other little tips, different angles that I might not have thought of, etc. So I think you should really, really join that one. But you say that you have problem with the fasting, so I think you should join the challenge for sure to learn how to deal with your cravings. I'm also doing quite affordable consultations. If you're interested in that, you can go to my Patreon site. You can find that in maybe not this video description because I haven't put it up yet, I don't think. I'll try to put it up on the screen if I can find the right one. Don't think it's that one. I just have lots of like images saved here. What about this one? Yes, so there, if you go to Patreon, I just have to remove your question there. If you go to Patreon, you can sign up for having monthly or twice monthly sessions with me as well if you're interested in that, and we can work more on your cravings. So there are many things that you can do. Obviously, I'm assuming now that you're eating a low carb diet, so you don't have those blood sugar swings, that is the problem, especially since you say that you have been fasting and you're starting to struggle with the fasting. So when I have been struggling with the fasting because I'm having a lot of cravings or I'm really hungry or whatever it is, I just go to intermittent fasting, because it can be that you have been doing that for too long and your body's just having a little bit of a kickback and it's saying, hey, we're a bit sick of this, we want more food, and maybe you're not eating enough. So there are a lot of things that could be going on there that could help. So if you want to do an intermittent fasting, I usually give myself 4 to 6 hour eating window, and I can eat either once or twice during that. And I just make sure that I keep those times. And if I want to have some carbs in that window, I will. Okay? So just don't be too hard on yourself. Allow yourself to do what actually makes you feel good, even if that would involve a bit of carbs. I'm not talking donuts and pizza and that sort of thing on a daily basis, but if a little bit of carbs will make you feel better, maybe that has something to do with your energy production that is going down for whatever reason, probably that you have energy restricted for a period of time and your body is just not happy with that. Okay, let's see. Tell us about the idea that Joe Zumbo will be outlining on my live stream today, i.e. how Stephanie might have a point for some people. You want me to tell you about that? Okay, so I'm just going to have to make some shit up. I guess that Stephanie's point is that we should be eating more fat to teach our bodies how to burn fat and actually up our metabolism. And I know that Joe Zumbo said something about eating more fat for anxiety, so I'm assuming that that is the topic. But that's about as much as I know. So yeah, there's your answer, Mr. K. Patricia, I've been reading here and there. Some places say a 0.5 meter reading is not in nutritional ketosis. Some say it is. Why would there be a disagreement? I don't really know why there would be a disagreement. I think that is the same as people can have 0.5 when they wake up in the morning, even if they are not low carb. Does that mean that they're not in nutritional ketosis, or does it? They clearly have some ketones, and where the limit is, I think is very, it's not a hard and fast rule. It's like saying I'm eating a low carb diet. For some people, that means less than 100 grams of carbs per day. For others, that means a strict ketogenic diet. Maybe that. And what is that? Less than 30 grams, maybe less than 50. Maybe it's a zero carb diet. So I think it has to do with that. And what I know sometimes, depending on what your goal is it for fat loss? Is it for, some migraine control? Is it for something else? You might have seen from research or from experience that there is a certain cut off for that condition that you want to achieve. And if you're not achieving that, you're not getting the benefits that you want from that. And then people just take that number, let's say for migraine control or whatever, and they just translate it to for everything. And that's not the same as for someone else. So I think that's just what it is. That there is no hard and fast rule. No, your Swedish is not so good, but I think we can agree on that. Let's see. Lukey, how can a ruminant meat-only diet work? I know the RDAs are not reliable, but it seems really lacking some nutrients such as manganese and vitamin E. Does it though? Manganese, you would find that in the bones. So if you are eating bone marrow, if you are eating bone broth, will you not get enough? Vitamin E is a fat-soluble vitamin, so if you are eating enough fat, would you not get enough vitamin E for your needs? Is my question. I think you would. But yeah, I don't know what the RDIs are, but as you say, they're not reliable, and I think we need RDIs for different diets. So someone who's eating a very, very high carbohydrate diet will have a different RDI to someone who's eating a moderate carb diet and someone who's eating a low or a zero carb diet. You're going to have different ideals or optimal levels. And another thing is that how much fat do you have stored? You can store vitamin E. Do you need more than you have stored? Are you already deficient? What's your metabolism like? Some people, there are many different types of vitamin E. I'm not thinking about. So, are you metabolizing it properly, or do you need some help by getting in a certain form? You know, there's so many things that could affect it. So yeah, when you say that RDIs are not trying to read at the same time, I can't talk, that they're not reliable, you're completely right. So why do you think that is not enough? Have you seen that you have a vitamin E deficiency from eating just ruminant meat? Is my question. Kung Fu speaks more crap Swedish, awesome. So apparently my stream is about 30 seconds delayed. Cool. Okay. Anyone else indulge in full cream grass-fed milk? Sometimes. I do not personally, because I don't feel great from eating cream. It's very interesting. The last few times when I made homemade ice cream from milk and eggs, etc., I have had a headache the day after, quite a bad one, like borderline migraine headache. I also tried to make, I thought I would make some eggnog with heavy cream and just eggs and whip it up and a little bit of sweetener. Tasted delicious and headache the next day. So I'm starting to think that heavy cream is not agreeing with me. I'm going to try again at some point, but I'm a bit scared of it right now. And there's never a good time to kind of plan for a headache. It's like, nah, I don't want a headache tomorrow. So I'll avoid that for now, but I'm going to try it again and see if that's actually what's going on. Necro, do you have hurricanes? We don't like that. Hope you're safe. Please be safe. Yeah, so if you wanted to join the Facebook groups, that's where you can go. Caught up. Yes, it's a consultancy issue. Not necessarily, but it could be if you want more help. Stina says, I'm lucky that I could kick my carbs out of my vocabulary and diet. That's good. It's still in my vocabulary. Yeah, you and Bart, you have to get the fuck out of my stream because you eat donuts and pizza. At least pizza and beer. I don't know about the donuts so much. Do you eat donuts, Kung Fu? Donuts is just like, it's a really good example to use for everything. Just say donuts and everyone gets it. Okay. Patty Ann, welcome. I'm glad you're here. How is Sweden? My mom said it was really, really hot, and I'm jealous. Morning, zombie. Okay, so they just feel they need to draw a line somewhere, and then yeah, I mean, I have the what's it called? The what's it called? Stephen Finney, the low carb or the ketogenic diet for performance or something, whatever it's called, I can't remember. So they have one number that they say that this is nutritional ketosis. Someone might have done a study somewhere and they have decided that this is nutritional ketosis. Someone has decided something else somewhere else. So yeah, I can't give you a good answer because there is no good answer. It's just people saying shit. I don't think there is a definition. You don't have it in a dictionary, I assume. I have to check that now, actually. So definition of nutritional ketosis. Yeah, okay. I can't find anything quickly that actually gives me a number. So it's more what it is that we're restricting carbohydrates to actually get into ketosis. So yeah, I don't think there is a good answer, Patricia. I'm sorry. Don't obsess about it. Only getting 30 miles per hour wind currently, but non-stop rain until tomorrow, so I'm mostly worried about flooding. That sounds awful. Tapnado, I ate carbs the other day that used to bring me enjoyment and got no enjoyment from it at all this time and just felt like crap after. I think the addiction is really broken now. Congratulations! That's awesome. What carbs did you eat? Let me know. I'm really curious about what kind of does it for different people. Great. Samsung says, I'm craving milk snacks. Luckily, it's got palm fats. Carb addiction is real. Yeah, tell me about it. Bowerbird, I'm addicted to milk carbs. I love everything dairy. That is really, really common. So the three things that people are most commonly addicted to is, or the three things, the three ingredients that are kind of creating the most addictive thing is the combination of fat, sugar, and dairy. So if you combine them into cheesecake or whatever, a lot of people will want that. That's like the ultimate yucky food. I like cheesecake, but it's actually not my favorite. Thank God for that, but ice cream is pretty up there. Christina says, it wasn't so much a carb addiction, rather more I could not eat to satiety. I was thinking about food all the time. I envy those who knew the limit of how much food is enough. Yeah, I think when you are getting into eating the right foods that are not addictive, that real foods, and you are used to that after a while, you can actually eat intuitively. As long as your reward system is messed up and you have all of those carby foods that you crave, you can't do it. It's just not going to work. So maybe one day I can eat more intuitively. I'm not quite there. It's still, some days I am there, other days I'm not quite there. Some days I want my blueberries and then I want more blueberries when I've had them. Oh my god. But it's just bullshitting, talking shit. Oh, Cornell, welcome. Welcome. Although if I'm the queen, I don't have the bow, do I? Now you all bow for me. I don't know, am I the pirate queen or was it? Do I need to get one of those patches over my eye? Donuts are nasty vegan food. Yeah, I agree. I do kind of like some donuts, usually with custard. Patty Ann says, it was hot today, but going to rain tomorrow. Actually, it started to rain already in Göteborg. Oh. However, it's probably good for the lawns, isn't it? Oh my goodness. This is turning into like a Swedish chat. Yes, Bart needs a Swedish keyboard, but he would probably use the wrong or so it would just fuck things up even more. My God, stop jumping! Ha! French fries. Oh, that's terrible, Fapnado. That's awful. Luckily, when I was 14, I did the work placement for 2 weeks at McDonald's, and since then, I do not like French fries, and I don't really ever eat them. The only French fries I can eat are sweet potato French fries. That's it. And I can't even remember when that was last time. I'm not tempted. It's not something that I feel like I need to do. Sugar is my only thing. Patricia says, I don't. There's an ongoing discussion in a Facebook group. I see. Okay. Tell them to get fact. It doesn't matter. It's so funny how we get so hung up on certain things. Does it really matter? Why do we need that definition? What's the purpose of getting that definition down? If you have 0.5, you have ketones. Isn't that all you want to know? Why does it have to be a certain amount? Unless it's for a specific purpose. I don't know what the Facebook group is about. But Patty answers, went to pick strawberries earlier today and now having bad costochondritis pain. Boo. Yeah, that's not great. Maybe you should not be eating strawberries. You can send them to me. I can do them. I don't feel bad from eating strawberries. It's more heavy cream for me. Don't forget some cacao, milk fats, carbs, and beneficial fats and vitamins depleted cocoa extracts. Deadly combination, possibly a hint of salt. Yeah, sure. That's something that most people like. I like it, but I actually, believe it or not, I prefer white chocolate because it's sweeter, I think. Everything that is super sweet goes down. Patricia says, I ate my cherries and I wanted more, but I didn't do it. Good girl. I knew you wouldn't do it. I'm not surprised. I'm a little bit surprised that you actually wanted more, but that's okay. Having said that, cherries are still, even though they're sweeter than the natural ones would be, it's still kind of an okay food. It's not going to kill you to eat cherries. I think you're okay. Christina, that's when one slice would be the whole cheesecake instead. Yes. Potatoes are evil. Yeah, sure, but the fat that they deep fried in, much more evil. Much more damage long term, will be with you for a long time. Not good. Well, yeah, working in a kitchen definitely kills some appreciation for greasy fried food. Yeah. I can't even remember if I liked French fries before that, but the smell of deep fried stuff is just disgusting to me, and I still hate it. And I have a very, very good sense of smell, and I can smell like anything at a distance, and I can smell out rancid oils very quickly. Cornell, starting to get a deficiency in vitamin A, alcohol. Is it the vitamin alcohol or actually vitamin A because you're drinking alcohol? The reason that medics, etc., put a threshold on things like ketones or whatever is to allow a binary decision mode, write the prescription or don't. Sure. Patty Ann, Swedish strawberries are to die for. I did eat a few and probably paying the price for it now, but the freezer is now happy. Yeah, I do know that. However, when they're frozen, they get much more sour, so I don't like them as much then. Carnivore Witch Tracy, I have never measured, but only eating fat and protein 98% of the time. I assume I am in ketosis. Coffee is my issue. Is coffee an issue? Yeah, coffee could be an issue, I suppose, for some people, but I mean, just quit it then. I say because I can quit coffee anytime and then I can start it anytime and it's never a problem for me, which is good. And now I'm thinking, when did I last drink coffee? Thursday or Friday? I usually drink it at work. I think I told you this a few times before, and that is just because it keeps me full because it's egg coffee and I don't have to eat. Okay, never mind. More stupid Swedish. You can fry potatoes in coconut oil, but I don't eat them, so it's moot anyway. Yeah, of course you can. You can fry them in coconut oil. You can fry them in lard or butter or beef drippings, whatever you have. That it's actually much healthier rather than the deep fried stuff in vegetable oils, because that is terrible. She can smell out smelly boyfriends too. Yes, this is a problem, especially if it's a smelly boyfriend when I'm trying to sleep. That's yucky. Just saying. They do. Good magnesium supplement. Magnesium biglycinate seems to do well with most people, but if it's ending with an 8, like citrate, biglycinate, orotate, anything like that, the uptake of the magnesium is usually pretty good. I have, let's see, that's citrate anyway. So I chose citrate just in case. I think I might have a little bit of oxalate dumping going on every now and then. I do get some weird things on my skin sometimes, and I am on antihistamines like constantly. So I'm trying to wean myself off them to see what is happening, because everyone says that they can cure the allergies with a carnivore diet, etc. And I haven't seen that myself. So now I'm seeing how long I can go without antihistamines before I start itching everywhere. So there's like not just itch, I kind of get little bumps, and I'm wondering if that could be oxalates, maybe? I don't know. I'm just playing around with things, trying things to see what's actually going on, but I don't really have the answers, so it's all just a big experiment. Patty Ann, what about what's my view on wine for an occasional treat? If you can handle wine, go for it. But wine can be very high in histamines, so you might get a reaction from that or something else. So I would say that, if you are fine with wine, you don't get a bad reaction, sure, use it as a treat if you like. I don't like wine. It tastes like vinegar to me. I'm not going to do it, but it's not any worse than having, a piece of cake or whatever for a treat. They're all pretty bad. So if that is what you want and you want it occasionally, I think it's fine. If it makes you feel shit, probably better to find something else if you can. Thoughts, opinions on Delta 9 THC or cannabinoids in general? Kayak 11, I do not feel like I know enough about that. What I do know is that they can be very beneficial in different illnesses, shall we say. There are different ratios of like CBD and THC that you should have for different conditions, depending on what it is that would, help you the most, etc. So I do think that there is a use for them if someone needs them. Having said that, I don't think we necessarily need to go there, because if your diet is correct, you shouldn't get those diseases. Okay? Now, most of us have already got those diseases. We already got there because of other nutritional abuse in the past, and in that case, it might be helpful. Would I personally take it just for the sake of taking it? No, it's not my cup of tea. And even if it was, I don't like just medicating with things for the sake of medicating with them. I would rather save that for a time where I might need it so that I get an effect from it. Right. Trying to quit coffee. Issue is my raised triglycerides level since I took coffee up again. Yeah, that will happen. Every single time you stimulate your adrenals, that's going to happen. Is that, do you get a huge rise in your triglycerides? Is that a problem though? I don't know. It might be a problem. But if depends on how much coffee you're drinking as well. You could just cut down, maybe have one small cup per day for a while before you cut it out totally. I don't know. It's like increased triglycerides isn't good, but having said that, you will not get a constant rise in your triglycerides from having coffee in the morning. That will raise while you're having the coffee and for a few hours until you use them up or store them again or whatever you're going to do with them. And then you're going to go back to baseline. So it's not an ongoing issue, but if you're having coffee throughout the day, then you're going to have elevated triglycerides throughout the day, and then that might not be so good. Lard fried French fries are to die for. Carb addiction or not, the flavor is real alive magic. I can imagine that would be really, really good if you like French fries. So I'll give you that, Nada. Apparently I am cheeky. Okay. We have a lot of sweets here today. Fluffy Rainbows. Hey, from Sweeteners. Nice to meet you, Pim. Hey, Fluffy Rainbows. Trevligt att träffas. Almost, what? Like, meet you. Okay. Magnesium oil spray. Yes. Really good. You won't overdose on that. I used to use it on my legs every night before going to bed. I forgot about that. I don't know why, but that's pretty good. Yeah. Patricia says that potatoes are triggering her cravings like mad, not worth it. Okay. It's funny how we all have different triggers. I could probably eat potatoes all day long, and well, I say that, but potatoes on themselves wouldn't trigger my cravings, but too many carbs would trigger my cravings. So, but not the potatoes specifically. Tatiana says that the magnesium oil spray works really well and gives a good percentage that the body can use. Yes. Can I flash the link to the group again? Let's see. Yes, I can. Here we go. It's in the chat. Abe. And now my chat is jumping. Can a raw cheese cause constipation? Yes. I have heard about many people who get constipated, or the other way, but usually constipation is a thing with dairy. Absolutely. So the best way of finding out is cut it out for a couple of weeks. Is your digestion working better? Then, yeah, it was definitely the cheese. Okay, would it be safe to consume fish oil with total oxidation value 3 and add the vitamin E? Okay, so the total oxidation value doesn't really tell you what the oxidation is. So when that's something that we sometimes put on the COAs, as in the certificate of analysis, when I'm done lab tests on the oils, and what you're pretty much measuring is obviously the peroxide, the PV, the peroxide values, and the first oxidation and the secondary oxidation products, which is aldehydes or ketones or whatever it could be. So you could have high peroxide value, which means that is the first step in the oxidation process, which is it's not good. Believe me, it's not good, but it's not as bad as the secondary oxidation products necessarily. The second I can't speak. The aldehydes, let's just say aldehydes because I can't talk, are much worse. So when you get a value of 3, you don't really know what that's made up of. It could be secondary oxidation products, it could be primary oxidation products, you don't know. And 3, in terms of, you know what? No, I don't think that is good. Added vitamin E doesn't matter because if your totally oxidation product is 3, you're not going to reverse that. It's going to be there and it's going to keep oxidizing. Added vitamin E, or even another antioxidant of some kind, can slow the oxidation down so that there is no further oxidation. But if you're telling me that you already have a value of 3, that's not very good. So one of our customers who is that is like a higher end oil, they require less than 0.2 of the primary oxidation products, and I think it's less than 2 for the secondary ones. So if both of those were maxed out, that would be 2.2 total oxidation, but there's some conversion in there, but roughly there. So it would be less than 3. Okay. So 3, I don't think that is great. No. And you can't reverse it. You would want to look for something that is really, really good quality, really low, preferably in both. 3 is not horrible, but I don't think it's good. Okay. Oh no, we're coming back to cod liver. What do I think about canned cod liver? I realized that we can't really get fresh cod liver. So, again, how much of that stuff are you eating? I did a video maybe half a year ago on the mineral oil content in different canned products and in fish, etc. And there is a risk of anything that comes in a can that you have mineral oil contamination in there, which is not good. Okay. So if you're eating a lot of canned cod liver, you might be doing yourself some harm. Is it the worst thing that you can eat? No, probably not. But why do you want cod liver? Can you not eat some other liver? Is it just for the omega-3? Why is it that you're eating cod liver? John Wiggle, do you think eating too much meat will increase your chances of getting cancer? No, I don't think so. I think that you're probably thinking about the mTOR. That is they call it like when you increase that pathway, you increase your chance of cancer, etc. Actually, it's not the protein. There are certain amino acids that are more prone to triggering the mTOR pathway, but carbohydrates is actually what is driving the majority of that. So no, I wouldn't worry about it. And how much meat are you eating, John? I'm just curious. I just had sort of an interview with a bodybuilder, and she's done an experiment of eating 600 to 700 grams of protein. And I'm talking protein, so we're talking several kilos of meat per day, or the equivalent of that. Obviously, she wasn't eating all of that in meat. I think it's pretty much impossible. She did that for 5 months, so it's not like someone could keep that up forever. But no, I don't think you need to worry about that. Bo had a wedding premiere that I could not miss. So late. Hey, does the duty. That's all right. So I'll put this up here again. So you can search for Life Without Cravings if you haven't got it yet. Mandy, thanks for saying hi. Yes, thumbs up, please. Give us a thumbs up. Right, Luke, I can't properly enjoy any sweets anymore. I never had that much by way of cravings. Now, despite the instant pleasure, I'm left constantly wondering about what shit that is doing to my body. Yeah. And I think that is such a healthy way of thinking about it, rather than thinking about the pleasure that you get from it and the instant stress relief or whatever else is involved in that. Think about what does it do to your body. If it's sugar, it's probably nothing good. It doesn't do anything good. If it's donuts, it does even less good because it has rancid oils in it. It's even worse. If it's cheesecake, maybe there are some nutrients in there, but if you really want those nutrients, just eat the cheese. If you can tolerate it, that is. So I think it's a very healthy way of looking at it, that we want to fuel our bodies with something that is actually healthy for us, something that is nourishing our bodies. And if you can see nutrition as just being fuel and nourishment and for our bodies to heal, repair, or whatever we're doing, I think we can get a really healthy way of eating, because we're eating for our bodies and not for our minds. Having said that, the mind will be affected, but I'm talking about the emotional part of the mind. Patty Ann, is cold pressed linseed oil any good? Got a small bottle today as I had read somewhere that it is good, but I want to be sure before I use it. No, not good. So let me check that. I just want to check the fatty acid profile of linseed oil. So generally, linseed oil contains approximately 9 to 11% saturated fat, 75 to 90% unsaturated fat. It doesn't say. I want to know exactly. Let's see. So the thing is, with unsaturated fat, you have monounsaturated and you have polyunsaturated fats. Polyunsaturated fats have several bonds that are very prone to oxidation. And the more of those you have, the worse it's going to be. The closer to the end of the carbon chain they are, the easier they are going to oxidize. So that's why, from an oxidation standpoint of view, omega-3s are actually worse than omega-6s. Having said that, omega-3s do have an important anti-inflammatory role, if you like, in your body, whereas the omega-6s are doing the opposite. And that is also important. But the thing is that we're just getting way too much of it. So we'd never have to supplement with them because we're getting more than we need anyway. So there is a lot of alpha-linoleic acid, which is polyunsaturated, over 50%. And then we have linoleic acid, which is another 15. So roughly 70% would be polyunsaturated, and that's not good news. So no, I wouldn't. Sorry, I know you bought it already, but I'm sorry. I don't think it's going to do you any good. If it's really high quality oil, let's say it was, unfortunately they always delivered in bloody see-through glass as well. And the things that will make oxidation go faster are light, heat, and obviously exposure to oxygen. So as soon as you open the bottle, you're going to have more oxidation. No. Please don't eat it. It's not good. Richard, thank you so much for your admission fee. I do appreciate that. Mwah. And I'm sorry you're late, but you're very welcome. Where was I? Didn't you have a question, Richard? When you super chat, you have to have a question. No, you don't, but you're allowed to. Do you even need oil, butter, lard to cook steak in a cast iron pan? Depends. Sometimes it might get stuck, so it's kind of up to you. But a cast iron pan, you usually want to treat them with enough fat so that they're not, getting burnt out and dry, etc. And you don't necessarily need to add extra while you're frying it if it's a pan that is well kept. But you just have to try. Cod liver because of the omega-3. Where do you get them from? So trying to find something on cod liver without oil, but no one's writing there. How much omega-3 is there in, a tin of cod liver? I don't really know. So if you know, let me know how much omega-3 is in there. And why don't you just eat fish? Fresh fish. Fresh food is always, always better than tinned food. Tinned food has been processed. It's not great. And it's in a tin, which is not great. Because then you have the risk of mineral oil contamination in the tin. Bird says, I have my meals planned days in advance, so there's no room for anything that doesn't work for me. Awesome. I have shitloads of meat in my fridge right now, like a mix of minced beef and minced beef heart. So just like, because I couldn't be bothered to actually freeze them, but usually I make up lots of burger patties and I freeze them and put them in the freezer. But it takes a little bit of time, so now I just have the mince mix, and I've been eating burgers 3 days out of the last 4 days, and I need to do something with that mince before it goes off. Probably today. But it's a good thing to have something that agrees with you, something that is what you should be eating, have it very handy so that you can just take it out and either eat it straight away or prepare it very quickly. It's a very good way of doing things, in my opinion. Would small amounts of stevia in tea a few times a day cause an insulin spike and cause the stall in weight loss on carnivore? It could do, absolutely. I did a stevia experiment before, so I measured my blood sugar. Obviously, I can't measure my insulin, and I ate a certain amount of cream, and I could see that my blood sugar was going up over time. Then I did the same thing the day after, same conditions, etc. This is obviously just n equals 1. It's very unscientific, but whatever. What happened was that my blood sugar went up slightly, and then it started to go down again. Same amount of cream, but I had added some stevia to it, which tells me that there's insulin to get rid of that blood sugar out of my bloodstream. Whereas when I just had cream, I didn't really get an insulin release because my blood sugar kept going up from, I guess, the very few grams of carbs that are in cream. Now, this is different for different people, but if you have a blood glucose meter, I would just check it and see what's happening. If you drink tea that has no calories with stevia, you take your blood sugar right before, you take it maybe 10-15 minutes after, has your blood sugar moved? If it's going down, you definitely have an insulin release. And that could definitely stall your weight loss, because every time you have insulin or excess insulin in your bloodstream, you're not going to be able to use your fat stores if that's what you want to lose. Linseed oil is great for your wood furniture, so is almond oil. True. AA, when it came to seed oils, isn't there additional chemicals that are required to extract the oil? Oh God, yes. Absolutely. So I'm working in an oil refinery, so we are getting crude oils. I don't know there are different ways of extracting oil from fish, but I'm not sure I know exactly what they're doing. But what we're doing, we're adding things to that as well. So there's something like caustic. You're basically making soap, and then they have to remove that soap, and then you have bleaching earth, and you're adding activate carbon, and you're acidifying it, etc. There are lots of things that go in there. Obviously, none of that should be left in the oil by the time you finish, but sure, absolutely. Okay. Then it will be furniture polish. Yay. Good, good. Do you eat any dairy butter? I eat butter. Yeah, I do. Sometimes I'm actually eating some halloumi cheese, and I thought for a while that they gave me headaches, but I haven't noticed anything. I seem to be doing fine with that. So I'm not sure what it is about the cream that is giving me headaches, or if it's just been a coincidence. Like the last 3 times I've eaten cream, I've got a really bad headache the day after. That's why I'm going to try it again and see if I'm just having cream, what is going to happen. I don't know, but I've had the combination of cream and eggs as well. But I'm having eggs with my egg coffee every day, and I'm eating a lot of eggs, and they don't give me headaches. But maybe it's a combination of cream and eggs, so I need to try that out a bit. So I'm probably going to try just cream, but I'm going to have stevia in because I don't like cream that much. So yeah, I do eat some dairy, halloumi cheese, and butter mainly. Rachel, mwah, thank you so much for your. Is that Australian dollars? What is the A? 7.99. Thank you very much anyway. I do appreciate it. Okay. Let's see. Richard says no questions, just cooking salmon, which took priority. That's fine. Salmon. I wish I liked fish. I just don't. Fish is good. Fitz, picking up pizza pie. I'll watch the rest later. Okay, I'll see you later then, Shell. Fluffy Rainbows, would you mind musing a bit on the topic of using seed oils for external use, please? I like making my own soaps and body butters and whatnot, and have been looking for info on this topic, but not to no availability. Yeah, your skin can absorb a lot of things. Now, we do have a bottle of almond oil, like for massage oil, which we actually do use. However, if you want to make your own soaps and body butters, at least for body butters, why not use beef drippings? That works really well. I've done a video when I made it last time. Like I just took beef drippings. I'd actually deodorized it myself because it was a bit smelly because it was a mix. The last batch that I did, it was a mix between beef drippings and sheep, or mutton, and I didn't like the smell of it, so I deodorized it a bit so that it didn't smell too much. Then I just take that at room temperature, I whisk it with a hand mixer, add a little bit of almond oil I think, or did I use olive oil? I can't remember. And just some drops of an essential oil to make it smell better, and you get this all fluffy hand cream basically, and I'm still using it, and it's all like really soft and nice to use. So there's nothing that says that you can't use animal fat to actually produce these things. So that's what I would do. I would rather do that. Someone was complaining about he still thought it smelled of mutton in my hand cream, so that's why we're using the almond oil still. But I think in the future I'll probably try to deodorize it a little bit more, put a bit more effort into that, and then try to make something that is suitable for massaging with. Shell says seed oils will clog pores. I wouldn't if I were you. Okay, I haven't noticed that myself, but that might be true as well. See Pim's video about that, the mineral oil from packaging. Eye-opening. Yeah, that's a bit scary actually. When you know about it, it's like, oh. Keep thinking they oxidize easily, so how good can it be? Yeah, exactly. So that's my point. Like, first of all, they're probably slightly oxidized by the time you get them, but then over time they will oxidize even more. So the more saturated fat you can get, the better. And you should be able to buy, I think in Sweden, I know they have like packs of lard, but you can probably find packs of beef drippings as well. I can't remember. It was so long ago since I was actually looking at that. But you can probably find it in the refrigerated area in the supermarket, and that would be fine enough. It doesn't have to be the highest quality, but if it doesn't smell sheep is probably a good thing. I'm addicted to butter. I would do anything for a fix. Cornell, it's a consultancy issue. We can fix you, but I don't think you want to stop eating butter. Unscientific hate speech. Yeah, of course. Is it true about stevia and the negative effects on thyroid? I haven't heard anything, Humanimal. What? Tell me. I probably can't answer the question because I haven't heard about it. We need to wrap up here because I think Mr. K is going to go live, isn't he? Are raw eggs better or worse than cooked in terms of nutrients and how easily it is absorbed? Okay, so raw egg whites contain the protein avidin, or it's a protein, but it's an enzyme. Avidin binds to biotin in the egg yolk, and probably other things as well, but mainly biotin. So if you're consuming raw egg whites, you will not get the benefit of that biotin. You will not be able to absorb it yourself because your egg whites are literally robbing you of it. If you cook egg whites, most of the avidin will be destroyed or denatured. So you won't have that problem and you can absorb more of the nutrients from the egg yolk. I use raw eggs in my egg coffee. I do not know how much of the avidin I destroy by pouring boiling coffee on it. I imagine that it's some. And I actually remember we did an experiment at uni at one point. We were looking at avidin and at what temperature it got destroyed, and I can't remember it at all. Anyway, so if you can cook at least the egg whites, the egg yolks, fine. Eat them in whatever shape or form you want. Is frozen fish good? Yeah. Frozen fish is fine if it's wild caught. So it's more of the quality where it's been. And to be honest, if you go and buy fresh fish somewhere, it says that it's fresh fish, but do you actually know how long ago it was caught? Usually what they're doing when they're catching the fish, they kind of freeze it straight away. So if you're buying a frozen fish, it might actually be fresher than the fresh fish that you find at the supermarket. If you have a fresh fish that is sold every morning in, at a fish market or whatever, it might actually be really, really fresh and might be really good. So you just have to kind of know a little bit how fresh it is. But frozen, not a problem. Fapnado says, I have stevia, xylitol, coffee or tea every day, and on fasting days, I would say I'll lose as much weight as anyone else's averages. Good. That's why you have to check for yourself, because some people are doing fine on it. But if you are doing it on fasting days, depending on how much you have, how much how many cups of tea you have, etc., even a small insulin release, but prevent your fat loss for a little period of time, and then it comes back up again because you're not eating straight away. So it's all about the total amount of insulin that is going to hit your bloodstream, in a day or a week or whatever. So if you are drinking Sweeteners for breakfast and think that you're fasting, but it raises your insulin, then you can't really access your fat cells. And then you have lunch, and then you're not going to access your fat cells. And then you have dinner, you're not going to access your fat cells. So the only time you're going to be able to burn fat is when you're sleeping, for example. If you, however, didn't have the sweetener in the morning, then you would just extend that period of time, and it would be easy for you to lose more weight. So we're all different, and we're all reacting differently to sweeteners. And that's definitely in the literature. They can use the same sweetener on 100 different people, and you're going to get different responses in different people. Okay. Let's see. God. Kerrygold or raw? Kerrygold's good most of the time. What I would say with butter is, if you can, make sure that you buy the butter in summer or near the end of summer. when you know for sure that the cows have been grazing on grass. Even Kerrygold will unfortunately have to give their cows some grains during winter. So the late winter, early, spring butter is not as good quality as later on in the year. It's not bad, but it's not as good. So I would just make sure that you know that the butter is coming from a cow that has been eating grass, and that is pretty much the only thing they've been eating, or mostly anyway. So with raw butter, if it's a raw butter from a cow that has been eating grains, it's probably not going to be very good quality. So you can do raw butter, but make sure that it comes from a cow that has been grass-fed. Yeah, halloumi is good. That's my go-to snack food. I just have lots of halloumi, and if I'm starving, I just go and cut a few slices up, throw them in the frying pan, and just eat them, and that would kind of keep me going for a little bit before I can make dinner or whatever. So sometimes I come home from work and I just feel like I need to go and walk the dogs, but I'm really hungry, and I just have some halloumi, and then I go walk the dogs, then I come home and I cook my dinner or whatever. Much better. Raw milk for life. I had yogurt. It gave me a migraine. I don't know if it's coincidence or not. The only way of finding out is unfortunately to try it again and again. And sometimes I think I've got it nailed down. I don't know what it was, but every time I had chicken wings, I got a headache the day after, and I was like, what the fuck? Is it chicken? And then I just decided to try it out, and I didn't get it. So I'm not sure. And it happened like 3-4 times, and then it didn't happen anymore. So it could be many things. You can make milk out of eggs and hot water for coffee, Pim. I can make milk out of eggs and hot water. Okay. Or I could just, I don't know. I don't have a use for milk. I don't ever use milk or feel a need to use milk. I think it's because I've never really, I mean, I drank milk as a kid, but I don't really like milk. Unless I was supposedly going to do a milkshake, maybe. But that's not real milk. It's just complicating things. I'm trying to make things easier in my life, if I can. Beef dripping for body will not smell bad. That's why I say you need to deodorize it. And then I found a really good video on YouTube, actually, someone who was doing that. So I just put it in with salt and water in a slow cooker, and I kept it going for a few hours, and then I poured it off. You let it cool, and you just pick the fat layer off. And then if it still smells a bit, you can do it again. It works pretty good. I should probably have done it twice. I just did it once. Oh, best way to get rid of candida, please. So candida is not a problem on its own. It's when you get an overgrowth of candida that is a problem. But the first thing you really should be doing is get rid of all sugar in your diet, and preferably all carbs if you can. That's a very, very good start, because the candida will feast on, people who have high blood sugar constantly or intermittently constantly will have more fungal problems in general, because fungi love sugar. So get your blood sugar under control. If you have a problem with that, make sure that you're not putting any extra sugar into your body, and start there. And then from there, you will have to start tweaking a bit. But many people will actually find enough relief from just kind of going really low carb, and that actually sorts it out for most people. Lamb drippings make amazing silky moisturizer. Yeah, I can imagine that, but it's just the smell. I would probably have to deodorize it many times. Can you use beef tallow for soap or duck fat? I would probably use beef tallow. It's more saturated. I'll probably do that. Okay. I put my beef fat and drippings through a water rendering cleaning process. I do it at least 3 times. There you go. So that's why I probably should have done it at least twice, because it still smells. So next time I will do it several times. I still have plenty of that. I just bought one of those tubs. I think it's 500 grams, and it's lasted me forever. I'm using it on my hands and my face like every day, and probably had it for almost 6 months. I have a big tub in the freezer still. If it works, then I can order rendered beef fat from the local farms along with my meat box next week. Can't be bothered to render the fat myself. Yeah, absolutely. Do that, Patty. And that sounds like really, really great. And that's probably going to be really good quality. The only thing is they render it and it's for food use. So it might smell a little bit. And that's why you will probably have to deodorize it yourself. But you can just get, if you don't have slow cooker, just get a big pot, put it on very low heat so that you're not, overheating the oils. With a bit of salting. Just Google it or go on YouTube and search for it and you'll find it. It's good. What kind of carnivore doesn't want his woman smelling like meat fat? I don't know, zombie. I have no idea. It's strange, isn't it? Because why put all those plants into your skin if you do have a choice? I must make some of my own out of beef fat using Pim's whipped method. It's really simple to do. And it's lasted me forever, as I said. It's great. I love it. Yeah, that's a good point. Richard says he got rid of candidiasis when on carnivore, but avoided dairy too. So dairy can be inflammatory, and dairy do contain some sugar. So if you're consuming a lot of that, especially milk, then yeah, that could do it. Does olive oil oxidize as well? So olive oil contains more monounsaturated fats, which are much more stable, but it's not as good as saturated fats. So it's a lot better than most vegetable oils, but it's not 100%. So I could use it absolutely. You can do a mix of beef fat and olive oil, and you'll probably get a really good, I don't know if you're gonna use it for soap, you can use olive oil if you want. It's just quite expensive. It's gonna be much more expensive, I think, than beef fat. Yes, Easter is lard. Yeah, so that's pig fat. Pig fat has more omega-6s in it, so I wouldn't necessarily use that. I think the beef fat and lamb fat is better. Lukey, thanks for the positive encouragement towards my sweetness guilt. Love you, Luke. Mandy, me also. Pim regards to cream triggers headaches, cheese hugely. I gave them up totally a year ago, but cream in coffee letting go was difficult. Inflammation throughout the body clearly. Yeah, it could be that, that it's a combination of things, and if you are already inflamed and you have a cream up top, maybe that triggers your headache. And if you're not that inflamed, maybe you can handle a bit of cream. Maybe that's my case. I don't know. I'm gonna have to try it out. I think Mr. K was gonna go live with something that he pre-recorded. I'm gonna have to go and look. I think he said he was gonna be at 10 o'clock. I don't know if he's still here. Yeah, he's live. So we're live at the same time. Sorry, that's why I'll try to finish at 10, but I just couldn't. So we're almost there though. Fluffy rainbows. I do use lard or goat tallow from free-range animals and render, but it's the adding of, say, carrot oil and other seed oils that is so beneficial according to mainstream. I was pondering about it. If you want to add a little bit of those oils, just go for it. I wouldn't worry too much if it's just a little bit, but if it's like the majority of it, it's going to be so much of it. But I don't know. I only heard about people using carrot oil for hair, actually. But as I said, I have a little bit of almond oil or olive oil. I can't remember what I had in my last batch in there, and that is just to kind of improve the consistency. And then I have a little bit of an essential oil for the smell. And I'm not going to worry about it because mostly it's good quality. Gung Fu, thank you so much for the 20 norska kronor. Everyone who don't like fish, try fish sticks. How did I miss your super chat? Thank you so much anyway. But fish sticks, do you not talk about fiskpinnar, which is like breadcrumbed. That's yucky. You're welcome, Fluffy Rainbows. More than welcome. That's why I'm here. Okay. Humanimal says, I like to coddle eggs, makes the protein cooked, yet silky and just warms the yolks through, but they are silky and I don't know what coddle eggs are. I'm thinking about like poached eggs and I don't like it. I don't like when it's been in contact with water. I don't know what it is. Exactly, you can freeze butter. So if you buy the majority of your butter during late summer, for example, and you just store it and you eat that butter all winter and then you don't buy it until early summer next year, you should be fine. Doggies need walkies whilst there's a break in the rain. Thanks, Pim. I haven't been able to catch many lives lately, but will watch replay when I have my second coffee with cream for the day. Enjoy, Humanimal. Take care of your little pooches. They are important. Egg milk substitute easily trumps out any plant milk. Yeah, for sure. I just don't know what we use it for. Okay. Samsung, somewhat off topic, but I find your name on that fish oil study about aldehydes. I've seen claims that even berries and other ordinary stuff has some. So how is it that they are so dangerous? There are different aldehydes. So you have certain aldehydes that are actually beneficial. So take an aldehyde like cinnamaldehyde that you have in cinnamon. I usually give that example because it's easy for me to remember. There are no studies that says that it's bad for you. So you have so many different type of aldehydes, just as you have different type of ketones. They are different chain lengths and they react differently in your body. So one of the most common ones is the shorter one, acrolein, which is produced in masses when you deep fry fruit, for example. And it's also produced when you literally breathing it when you're smoking tobacco. And that is highly carcinogenic. The longer they get, the less studied they are, but also the less likely you are to create them. So the shorter chains you have, the more likely you're going to create them. So there are aldehydes, different type of aldehydes. Not all aldehydes are necessarily bad for you, and some are much worse than others. So I just like to bunch it in together because if I say acrolein, you have like you have different, even for a chain length that they say that is an aldehyde that it has consists of 9 carbons. You have the double binding with to the oxygen at different places, so you're going to have different chemical structures of that aldehyde, and depending on what the structure is, it's going to be more or less harmful in your body. So it's quite complex. It's not like that straightforward. So berry aldehydes, how much are they and what type are they? So I don't necessarily know what's in certain berries. I just know that there are certain aldehydes that are not actually a problem. So how do you detox aldehydes? That's the problem. They bind irreversibly to your DNA, to other proteins. You can't detox from them. Once they're there, they're making some damage. You're going to have to wait for those cells to be replaced with new healthy cells. And if that is happening in DNA, you have a DNA damage. Obviously, DNA damage could down the line lead to cancer if it's in the wrong position. DNA damage doesn't have to be dangerous, but it could absolutely be dangerous. So DNA damage that has to do with the cell's ability to go into an apoptotic state, which is literally cell suicide. If you have DNA damage there so that it can't do that, you will have a cell that could potentially be cancerous because it will keep growing and doing things. And once it doesn't work the way it should be working, your body will signal to it to kill itself, to get rid of that because it's faulty. If that mechanism doesn't work and the cell keeps doing something that is not good for your body, and then it multiplies, and it multiplies obviously with the same DNA damage that you got the first time, you're going to have a cancerous cell and you're going to start growing cancer. And that's not ideal. So that's why I'm so scared of aldehydes or oxidation products, because These are things that would be in your cell membranes, like when you incorporate oxidized fats, they will be in your cell membranes. And if they're in your cell membranes, they are also causing a lot of trouble. But the aldehydes can bind irreversibly to a lot of things in your body that will cause other problems. So no, you can't detox from that. You just have to stop eating it, wait for your immune system and your body to clear them out on its own. How do you fix constipation on carnivore? If you're eating a lot of dairy, try to cut that out, first of all. Drink more salt water. So drink more water and or eat salt. Constipation is usually not a problem. Are you sure that you're constipated, or is the frequency just going down? It doesn't mean that you have to be constipated, because on carnivore, if you are going every 3 days, that is actually not unusual. If you're going every week, maybe, constipation is just not, it's not about frequency. Actually, constipation is about, is it, is it painful? Is it hard to go? Do you have pain in your stomach? That sort of thing. Is it actually real constipation is my question, because it's not necessarily constipation. Last comment here. Are you cycling in and out of carnivore, Andy? Says Richard. That is a good point, because if you are kind of carnivore a few days and then you eat something else, you might be, eating, I don't know, wheat, whatever. What I've noticed is that I've never really had any problem with constipation, but if I am all of a sudden just eating a lot of crap, I can get constipated on foods that I didn't even know that I could be, because I'm used to just, metabolizing meat nowadays. So, okay. Let's see. What's happening with the chat here? Okay. I can read that there's one more comment, but it's not up on the chat yet. So, I've been overdosing on fish oil and successfully put out inflammation with omega-3s. 10 times the dose, I'm still here. Yeah. So what I usually say is that if you have an acute condition, here we go. Personally, if I had a traumatic brain injury, if I hit my head and I got a concussion or whatever, I would source a really good quality fish oil, and I would take mega dosing for maybe a few months to heal that, because I think it's that important for my brain. I would never, however, eating fish oils on a regular basis, every day, every year, just keep doing that for the sake of it. I would rather reduce my omega-6s to get rid of that inflammation, eat grass-fed beef fat to get my omega-3s that I need, and not eat a lot of inflammatory stuff like sugar and processed foods, because in the end of the day, those are what is causing inflammation. But, the omega-6s, get them down. That's really, really important. I'm not saying you're going to die from eating fish oil. Not today. You might die from eating fish oil in 30 years' time if you are eating a lot of fish oil for a long period of time, like every day for 30 days, well, 30 years, I mean. Yes, then that might be a problem. But we never know what's happening. Some people are lucky, some people are not so lucky. Okay, so I think that was all of the questions. So Andy says, no, I'm not cycling. So, but you didn't answer whether it's actually true constipation or not. Yeah, exactly, Richard. It does screw you up. And I've never had any problems with my digestion, but if I am eating really well for a period of time and then all of a sudden I just have like a huge pig out, then that can absolutely screw with it. Yes, you can try to increase the salt and also water, because sometimes it can be that you're not drinking enough and you might not be getting enough salt and you just dehydrated, and that will make you constipated, or at least make the poos sit in your stomach or in your intestines rather than coming out. Samsung, been avoiding omega-6s, of course. Thank you so much. Good. That's super important. I might have to do like on one of the live streams talk a little bit about the omega-6s, because it's like people don't really take it seriously, but it needs to be taken seriously, in my opinion. Okay, so that was it. Kung Fu. Yes, fiskepinne. Fish with thin layer of breadcrumb. Yeah. So that's not something that I would want to eat for the sake of eating fish, because I believe that the breadcrumbs would kind of cause me more trouble than not eating fish. So thanks, but no thanks. I think I'll avoid fiskepinne or fiskepinne. I can't. Yeah, sea salt is good. Sea salt, Himalayan pink salt, anything that doesn't have a lot of additives like caking agents and stuff. But I like Himalayan sea salt because there are other trace minerals as well, but it's not that much, so you can eat sea salt. It's fine. And by the way, thank you for the 20 norska kronor. Fiskepinne. We had in Gothenburg, there's the Fiskekyrkan. That sounds very Norwegian to me. I can't even speak Norwegian. I'm just pretending. So, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me. Apologies for being 26 minutes late. Some people have left and gone to the other live stream, which is fine. And thank you to those of you who are still here. If you're still here, I think you should go and watch the live with Joe Zumbo on the Nutrition Science Watchdog channel. Yes, no to fish fingers. So if you want to support this channel, you can join me on Patreon, and I actually already have the address up there, and you can join for like $1 a month if you like, and just be a nice supporter. When I have 20 supporters, I'm going to start making monthly live streams for my supporters on Patreon. So you can send your questions to me in advance, and I'll do whatever research I need to do to answer your questions. So it's going to be much more in depth. So thank you so much for being here, and watch out for the interview coming out on Tuesday with Lone Star Keto Girl. And I won't tell you any more about that, because I think you should head over to Bart's channel and watch his live stream. So take care, and I will see you next week.